Okay, hello. In this video, I would like to show you how to control the light with a timer. And by controlling the light, I'm meaning not just turning it off and on, but gradually increase intensity and dim the light. And you can use it for your, I don't know, car application, boat application, any application where you need to, instead of just turning on and off light, you want to gradually increase intensity and decrease intensity and dim the light. So what we're going to use, we're going to use the timer output, the gradual increase or decrease. And basically here's an example. The normal timer output instantly comes on and comes off. Gradual increase, it takes about 4 seconds to increase to the maximum, and once it's shutting off, it gradually decreases. So let's see how we can use it. So what we're going to program the timer in the function 22, which is just a follow. Basically, we will configure the trigger, and light will follow the trigger. If we don't use the gradual output option, then when the trigger is on, the output is on. When the trigger is off, the output is off. So kind of very simple. But if we would add a gradual output function, then we can make the light gradually increase and gradually decrease. So let's do that first. So going back to the programming steps, they outline in the manual. Basically, we will need to program the first 3 parameters. So once you go into the configuration mode, we would actually, for our example, we don't need to set the time, but this is the first parameter that is configured. Then we will skip it. We'll go to function. We'll configure the function to the 22. We'll configure a trigger to 2, so the trigger acts on a positive signal. And output mode, we will set it to the gradual. The rest we don't need to touch. Okay, so let's try that. So I have the power supply here. Output's 12 volts. The timer is connected as basically very basic. Output goes to the light, and power goes to the timer. There's nothing. It's on the page number 1 in the manual. Nothing special here. I'm not going to connect the programming buttons. I'm going to show you how to do it with just the wires. It's not that hard. Programming buttons help a little bit, but we can do it with the wires too. So the first thing we need to do, so if we would turn it on first, the light blinks first because it's defaulted to the program too. So first thing we need to do is, like I said, we're going to put the timer in the programming mode, skip the timing, set the function 22, trigger 2, and decrease. So let's do that. So we're going to take 2 wires, connect it to the ground, turn the power supply on, light comes on. It's really bright in the picture. We will see if we can see the decrease of the light later. So we're in the timing mode. We don't need to set the time. We can set the time, but if we set the time to 1 second, we'll do it like this. We don't need to do that. We can just skip this step. So we connect both wires to the ground. So we're now in a timer function and trigger mode. So the white wire is a timer function. We need to set it to 22. So we need to touch to the ground 22 times. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. And now the green wire. I'm not sure if it's going to make it better or not. Set to 2, 1, 2. Then we're going to the next programming. Then we're going to the output mode. So we again connect both wires to the ground. And we just touch the green wire, blinks 2 times, and that's it. So I'm going to turn the power off. Here's our trigger, X on positive. Here's our positive. So we turn the light on, nothing happens. We touch the trigger to the positive, and the light comes on. We disconnect, and as you see, the light goes off. Again, could be used with incandescent or LED light. Again, connect. So if this is your normal switch, you would need to connect the timer to the always constant positive, and then your switch will only supply the power to the trigger just to activate the timer. Okay. All right, that's great. We can also we can also set it to the off delay. So any of those functions work. So it's just the output instead of the instant output. You'll get a gradual output. So let's do it function 12 off, where when we touch the trigger, light will come off. But let's say when we turn the light off, when we disconnect the trigger, we want the light to stay on for extra 3 seconds and then turn off. So in this case, we need to set the timing for 3 seconds. So again, timing would be 3 seconds, the function 12, trigger 2, and output we already set, we don't need to change it. We don't need to change the trigger either. So since we already set the gradual output in the trigger mode, we only need to change the time, T1, and the timer function. Now, if you're doing it from scratch, if you reset the timer, then you need to set all 4 parameters. Okay, connect to the ground. In the programming mode. So white for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Disconnect. Connect both. And then function 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2. Okay, turn it off, turn it back on. So if you touch it to the positive, the light should come on, just a touch, and then it will stay for 3 seconds and turn off. Okay, so if we would hold it there, let's hold it. So it comes on, it stays on. When we disconnect, 1, 2, 3, and then it's going to gradually turn off. You can set it obviously for longer, 10, 20, 30 seconds, an hour, whatever you need to. Okay, so let's look at one more interface. Let's look at the button interface 24. This is where you can where you can make the switch, you use the button versus the switch. So when we touch the trigger the first time, the light will come on, and when we touch the second one, the light will go off. So that's the function 24. So time doesn't matter in this case, so we're going to skip the timing. Going to the function, so it's function 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that should do it. So let's try that. So if we touch it, comes on, and will stay on until we touch it the second time. So we touch it the second time, it goes off. So you can make a button to turn the light on and off. On, and will stay on. It's not gonna time out. You can also do it with the timeout. So function 23 will time out after a period of time. You can set it for much longer duration. And then touch it one more time and it turns off. So that is it. Now we're going to take a look at the connecting the negative output timer. This is the timer that connects the output to the ground versus supplying the power. Okay, so that timer, so I have the timer right here. Like I said, so we were controlling the power going to the light, and the other end connects to the ground. In the timer that has the negative output, it connects the load to the ground. So it's going to be connected slightly different there. the light would need to be connected to the power all the time. So let's disconnect this timer. Okay, so this is the negative output. The ground goes to the ground. Positive goes to the positive. But also positive goes to the light. And then the light goes to the timer output, which would supply the ground. So that's only different. So if using it for the car, for example, there's a lot of lights that controlled by the ground and not by the power. So you would need the negative output or sync output timer that connects your load to the ground. You can obviously change the wiring and rewire your lights, but sometimes it's inconvenient to do that. Okay, so we connect it. So we're going to turn it power on. Light comes on for a second. This is default. So what we're going to do is we're going to program it. So we're going back and we're going to program it to function 22. So we're going to skip the time. We're going to program the timer to 22. Trigger we're going to program to 4 because we want to be active on the ground, because you're going to connect your trigger to your switch, which is ground right now. So that would be function 4, and then gradual increase, decrease. So again, taking 2 wires, I'm gonna just use wires, not buttons. It's not that hard. Okay, so going to programming mode first. So the timing we're going to skip. So we're going just to ground wires again together. Light comes on for 3 seconds to confirm that. So now we need to set the function to 22. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. And trigger to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to the next mode, again grounding 2 wires together. Going to next mode and set the gradual decrease, increase is just a green wire touching once, blink twice, and that's it. So now we're going to turn the light on, power supply on. Use the blue wire, connect to the trigger, which is ground, and light gradually comes on. And then if we remove it, the light goes off. Again, goes on, comes on, remove, goes off. Again, it's just a follow, so it's just following your trigger. Here's fully on. We remove it. It goes off. Again, you can configure to the button interface. Any of those functions will work. It's just we're changing the output, that the output is gradually increasing and gradually decreasing, like in this picture. So okay, thank you so much. Again, thank you for watching. Please subscribe so you can get update on the newest videos.